Hello, warriors. What is a warrior? A warrior is resilient, lives through battles and faces adversity, marches on though wounded, and has the courage to face another day. So that's what you guys are. Don't forget it. How you doing, Steve? Blake, he's a warrior, that guy, Blake Morrow. Ryan, too, even though he has a funny accent. Mike Weissman, Kman, there's another warrior. He's been on the battlefield for generations. Kareem, how are you? Ingmar, James Groom, all you guys, Hannah and ladies, and act in the face of fear. Replaces that fear with faith. Okay, don't trade with fear. Trade with, okay, Mr. Market, I've done all my work. Here's where I'm getting into the trade. Prove me wrong. That's not fearful. Right, Brand? Okay, that's the end of my lecture today. Anyone feel inspired? Give me a Y if you do. And let's talk about what's happening in the markets. Okay, so that's what something else we do here at Forex Analytics. We inspire people. And at times we all need to be encouraged and inspired and right. So let's start with Ryan. Continuation move, weakness in the dollar. My friend from the UK, I mean, mate. How are you today, mate?
Yeah, it must be the funny voices, eh?
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you had a falsetto. That now I know I'm right. So I said not voice, accent.
Oh, same thing.
Oh, okay. No, it's a little different. Anyway, Euro coming out of here.
Yeah,
You,
your dollar's got a bit of a whack this morning.
yeah,
Maybe just a bit of, sort of reaction from the shutdown. Now we've actually over it and it's finished with, and everyone's back into data watch mode now. See how much of a black hole you guys fell into.
what are you doing with the yen, Ryan?
I squared up last night. I had a little bit long left. We couldn't break that 155. I thought I'm not going to bed, leaving
Yeah,
long yen pair position in short yen with possible intervention. So I just closed it up. I'm on my hands. We're in
yeah,
that mode where, because of the intervention threat, you don't want to buy it in case you get an intervention wrapped around your head, and you can't be short ahead of interventions because it can still grind 300 pips against you. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm in neutral till we get a bit of clarity on that front.
Okay. Uh, just as an aside, it could end up being a false breakout over this 54 and a half level that took, a long time to take out. And,
Yeah,
so if you had your stop over the high of the move, you're gone and the market's right back where you got taken out. So,
it had a go. It had a go. Had a little
yeah,
dip down, but it got back above, and we're sitting right on it again at the moment. So
yeah,
yeah,
it could
it's
hold.
still it's sorry
Yeah, it could hold.
if it holds, yeah, but
It
it's got to
could.
do something
Yeah.
between there and 155. It can't stay in that range for long.
Well, look at the confluence at 54. If you want to be long yen, uh, this is my bull bear line. So, that's something to keep in mind. Cable outperforming.
Yep,
EG, EG, another potential false breakout. I mean, look how
it's
long it took to get, finally do it. And it's saying, okay, that's a breakout, but I'm going to let everyone buy it underneath the breakout.
yeah, it's
Or you know what I
possible.
mean?
You know how slow this has moved. I mean, it's done what 30 pips, 40 pips in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
So yeah, we had some crappy data, but it was data that could have been worse. So the
I
pound
see.
got a little bit of a hit. and we're in full on politics mode now with the upcoming budget and infighting going on with the ruling Labour Party. So there's still more paths to pound weakness than pound strength at the moment.
All right, buddy.
Cable's a different kettle of fish, though.
Okay. Anything you talked about on the flow show that you want to bring up to this audience here?
No, we talked about loads on the flow show. You're going to lose tariffs on bananas if you like a banana.
Oh, yeah, and coffee.
Yeah, coffee as well. No, not really. I mean, no, it's all a bit. There's lots of news, but nothing really of note. Massively of note. We had Treasury Secretary Besant out saying, this 2,000 rebate everyone's getting going to be potentially for people on less than 100,000. A lot of talk from Fed members about the balance sheet and how they're going to be, keeping an eye on that and going back into buying bonds, which is not QE bond buying. We need to stress, but there's lots of talk around that building up at the moment.
I heard the UK made a huge US bond purchase recently. Did you hear about that?
Did we buy one?
The UK did a massive bond buy of US
Really?
treasuries.
Why do we do that?
I don't know. I thought maybe you would know about it.
No. I'll have to look into that one. How many did we
Anyway.
buy? 2?
I think billions.
Ryan, probably they had good reasons, as when you sold all your gold.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Steve's pointing out BOE's track record,
which is amazing.
Steve, you ever think of the disclaimer? It's really opposite when they say past performance is not indicative of future results.
In some cases it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
For the most part, it is.
I mean, history, of course, cannot predict the future, but sometimes studying history, you can understand.
Yeah, if you have a history of losing, it's a pretty good indicator that your future performance won't be much better.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
If you haven't really changed your methods or,
Yeah.
The way of assessing investing, obviously doesn't look good, does it?
Yeah, just something that strikes me as, they think they're protecting people, but maybe it'd be good if they knew what the past results were before they did anything. Like people could come in here and go to our website and look at all the pattern and plays for 10 years and break down all the stats, the return, average risk per pip, average gain per pip. And I'd say that the 10-year track record, better than a 50% hit rate, is a pretty good indication of future results. Although I would say, if anything, they could get better. But that's good enough to make money, okay? That's the bottom line.
Yep.
Okay,
in answer to your bond question, we overtook China earlier this year as the second largest holder of US debt.
Huh. Well, okay. But does it show a purchase or anything? Is that because of the purchase they made?
It might have been something in the auctions. 10-year.
Yeah, Basant's a bond salesman. Only his customers are countries. All right. So anyway,
like the Simpsons monorail salesman.
He has a nice book. All right. So good morning, Kman. How are you?
Morning, everybody.
Aussie following through, starting to give up. There's a kind of negative candle. What do you think?
But it's all still very tentative. We tend to see those things in especially in the commodity currencies once they get a boost from something and then it fizzles out. A bit like with what happened, once the Canadian jobs were digested. Aussie is a bit similar right now. I'm still a bit long. I took some off though when it came into that 65 3/4 zone. So that's all right. Yeah, but I wouldn't like it to get back below 65.15 or so, that Aussie. Canada, I've got nothing right now. But the thing, what I also mentioned on the flow show is that I've reached my target on the EURJPY.
Okay.
The
Yeah. It,
channel top, the
yeah.
30-year chart tops, they all converging just under 180, and so I took it off. Plan is a plan. Even if the yen still looks weak, sometimes we just have to take the dough and then reassess.
take the dough and blow,
Mhm.
right? Just blow
Oh
the
yeah,
scene. So there it is. Yeah, a little bit of an overthrow right now.
yeah,
So
maybe.
yeah,
It's still not far away. It's only 10 pips away from where I stepped out. But I'm happy with this move. That's fine. I took most of it, so
yeah, that
I'm
was a
a happy
great
man.
trade. Um, any feeling about maybe reversing it? What would get you to become bearish this pair?
Oh, Takaichi giving up on all her plans. I mean, she repeated this morning that she would really throw a lot of money. And actually, Ueda and herself were in the diet speaking this morning, and she gave a little wink to the BOJ again to potentially not raise rates too fast. So my overall view hasn't changed. It's just that we're coming to levels where, yeah, just my plan
Yeah,
is
just yeah,
there, and that's it.
yeah.
Uh,
An objective, it doesn't matter what the news backdrop is, right? I mean, you get your target, you take it.
Yeah, and then sometimes, I mean, when everything is known, the plans are known, you can compare it like a bit like what happening to sterling now. People trading short sterling, and then the number comes out, it's a bad number, and then you see all of a sudden a wave of profit taking on short sterling. So on the yen, it could happen as well. Especially if we would get like another ramp above 155, maybe we should be a bit careful about interventions. And I wouldn't want to sit there with my plan reaching target, trying to overstretch it, and then the next morning I wake up and they have intervened. That would be the worst discipline one can imagine. So
No, you never go broke taking profits, buddy.
yeah,
You'd
exactly.
always get back in the trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Something about getting back in a trade. If you still believe in the trade, say a few days go on, but you can't get in at a better level than you got out of, you don't worry about that. If it's still right to be long, you don't have to get a better price than your exit if the trade's
No.
still compelling to you, right? And a lot of people fall into that psychological. I'm not going to pay up for it. I sold it here. I'm going to wait to buy it cheaper.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, you
hey,
know
coach,
what?
you're drifting away from your microphone, just FYI.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I turned my
You know
chair.
what? I mean, that exactly happened to me on gold. I gave it up. Well, I no, I've been slightly trying to accompany these moves, but for far less than I had on it before. But same happened. I thought like, okay, 4,000, we need a break, and sold it there, but I had difficulties to get back in, and so yeah, sometimes it happens. It's human, not to want to
Yeah.
pay up for stuff, but yeah, in yen, yeah. I mean, I would you know what? I would like dollar yen to shy away from this level. Maybe whether it comes through a weaker dollar elsewhere, pulling dollar yen down a little bit to give room to the rest of the crosses as well. You see what I mean? To get out of the danger
Yeah.
zone for interventions, and then we can actually. Then I would feel a bit more safer to be short yen again.
Okay. I was just looking at this Canada. This, tells
Mm,
me there's going to be at least, I think, a relief pop to 40 and a half, maybe.
could be.
I don't see it breaking down out of a formation like this.
You know, Dale, today's lows was the 618 retracement of that last big move that just in the middle of your screen.
Yeah, see, great minds, right, Blake?
That's right.
Anyway, so you guys want to talk about gold? We've exceeded 61.8, at least the one I had. And silver, what did it do? It missed a new high by 10 cents on
Yeah,
this double top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
could be.
there you go.
Could be. It lost a buck very quickly once we hit that high during our morning. But gold, I wouldn't even. I'm not thinking of going short.
Can you buy it?
Well, as I said, I mean, I've been a bit of a chicken. I bought it for twice or three times $10, but not like the 200 from 4,000.
Yeah,
But it's just too big. I mean,
yeah, it's really big.
it had quite a few reasons to retrace. We've had from yeah twice $40 retracement, and then it flies another. And at the start of the week we were at 4,000. We're at
I
4,230 now.
know.
Right,
Yeah,
5%. 5%.
yeah.
I mean, that's you can't really say it's offered. Yesterday as well. When I said this is just bid, I mean we are already $100 higher.
Copper
I wanna
looks
ask Will,
okay too. What's that,
uh,
Ryan?
Will in the chat, he says he's going to try shorting gold. I want to know what his reasoning is for shorting gold.
Did he
He's
say?
in the Zoom chat. Yeah, he's in the
Okay.
Zoom chat.
Oh, okay. All right. In the meantime, talk a little bit about yields. They still look like they want to pop.
Yeah,
Here's the 10-year.
waiting for data.
Yeah,
Yeah,
almost like
I mean
little.
we're in the middle there. The bond market, asset managers, whatever, their models, they didn't have any data to process, so they're waiting for data to process. So with the shutdown now being can kicked until end of January, finally those people will have the bond traders will have numbers to put into their models. So we may see a bond market move coming up next week or so.
Yeah, maybe it's yields up. Maybe
I don't
we
know.
get a right shoulder in TLT.
No idea. I mean, do we get jobs data? That's probably going to be a bit of a driver.
So they tried to shake out WTI longs yesterday, but it looks like they're putting in a higher low. And we have Anas El Hadi here. He just got back from the Middle East, so stick around if you're an energy person. Anas has been, kind of saying, there's so much bearishness. Everyone thought we'd be a lot lower by now. So let's see what he found
Yeah.
out there. Um,
The
so
problem is if you look at all those moves, all spikes have been sold. Huh? Look at it. Look
yeah,
at it again. Yesterday it went up, and then all of a sudden, bang! You're losing $1.50 or $2. I mean,
yeah, nat gas has been a different story.
yeah, very different. Very, very
Yeah.
different.
So, there's still people looking for maybe one rally back to 64 or so before we get another drop. Personally, I would like to see crude take out these lows first, at least, and take out these lows for some kind of, low panic washout to finish it.
Yeah, that may be it. That may really be it. If you get like a kind of now, okay, we are completely giving it up here, and see a move $50 or just below, that may be the right one.
Okay. All right. So S&Ps, a pretty good week, good follow through. As the markets, we've reopened. Is this a failing rally, Blake?
I sold it last night when the government reopened. It's one of those buy the rumor, sell the news. The market was running.
You're such a contrarian.
I can be, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I was just saying in the chat room just a little while ago in the Forex Analytics chat room, markets aren't as perky as they usually are. In the morning, like this time of the day, coming in, we're seeing equity markets. I mean, Dow's on its lows right now. I know we had earnings from Disney a little bit earlier, but we're seeing a little bit of just hesitation. Where the
Does
market is.
volume seem lighter too?
It has been lighter actually. Actually, it was noticed by a few different people. I've seen that observation as of late here. I'll show you right here.
You know, Blake, I feel that on the whole board, that you know the ticks, the different trades, that there's time lags between trades instead of your board flashing continuously. It's like there's delays in all these markets. Seems like there's less liquidity in the markets.
Yeah, and there probably is because I mean you got people that are just unwilling to chase at these levels, and knowing that we have a budget issue, knowing that we're not going to get over, we got a can kick until January 30th. We've got a lot of debt.
Yeah,
We've got a president who might be losing some control here, both politically. Well, a lot of politically, and he might lose a lot of political capital, with this whole
Epstein.
Epstein thing, coming to light, and people understand that the AI spend is huge, and we might not be seeing the benefits from that. So I think that the market's been kind of bullish, thinking that we're going to get, we're going to
Yeah,
eventually, get
year-end
this
rally.
year-end rally, little,
And
shut down, and that was gonna come to an end. We all knew that was gonna come to an end soon. And now that it has, if we can create lower highs and we don't, get, above 7,000, I
yeah,
I want to stay short for the next couple of weeks. And so that was, my
I
thought
hear you.
process last night. And I'm gonna stay short, for a couple weeks more than likely, or unless we test this lower trend line, which has been a very technical level. You can see it right here. It's in green. I know
Yeah.
a few of us have been talking about it in the chat room. Kman brought it up last week. We bounced off of it, and other traders in our chat room have been talking about it as well. I think it's a real key level, and if that breaks, then I'll be adding. I'd rather add to downside momentum and
Yeah.
see some sellers really step in, versus, getting too aggressive up here, being by our highs. So anyway,
Yeah,
that's kind of how I look at it. But also, I just wanted to mention if again, if you're in the Forex Analytics chat room, we've got we were talking about a head and shoulder pattern in the Nasdaq developing potentially. So a crack of this
oh
this
yeah,
neckline would be,
nice.
yeah, I mean, it's just they're setups, and in a market that's been really, really tight as of late. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with this new deal, I want to ask all you guys about this new deal. So, there's time. What we talked about, 3 months basically, that they have. And, you think people are going to wait until the end of January to get nervous about this happening again?
Yes,
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah,
because they're going to go through the holidays, and if they get their $2,000 checks, they're not going to give them monkeys. Worry
Okay.
about it in January.
Okay. You know
and
what?
speaking of the $2,000 checks, I didn't, and this is just me thinking out loud. Isn't this just a situation where President Trump can make a promise, and then the courts strike down the tariffs, and then he can blame the courts on not being able to deliver a $2,000 check, and he's setting up the courts to be a potential fall guy here. I mean, doesn't that seem like that to you, to me? I mean, it just seems
Yeah.
like that to me anyway.
It's
I mean,
possible.
the whole idea seems kind of I don't know, just like give the peasants a few bucks, like throwing the dogs some meat to keep them calm.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I
that. It
mean?
does feel that
I
way.
mean,
Totally.
yeah, $2,000 going to change anyone's life?
No, it just but they're you
Yeah,
just buy altcoins.
yeah,
That's
But
what you do.
wasn't that a policy of his at the start? Isn't that what he got elected on? That if he's going to tariff, he's going to give it to the people.
I don't remember. He promised a lot of things, Ryan.
That's
So
true.
It's hard to figure that one out. Anyway, hey, let's talk a little bit about the FX market. Obviously UK data came out, cable squeezing. We see it ripping right back into the 38% retracement. Ryan, what's all that about?
It's your crappy dollar, mate. That's what it is.
Well, true. Okay. All right.
No,
All
no
right.
one's buying cable because everything's fine and rosy over here in the UK.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that. All right. Well, here we are back at the 38% retracement. Some pretty key resistance here. Dale, as you were talking, you were talking about the dollar CAD. Yeah, the dollar CAD basically came down to that 618 retracement right there. It literally hit it to the pip, and we found some buyers this morning. So I think that's pretty important. One of the things that I noticed when I got up this morning also was regarding the yen. The yen, I think this is really critical support. It was 154.40 because that was the breakout point. We obviously took it out just by 8 pips or so, and then found some buyers. How strong is this support to you guys? I know Kman and Ryan, you guys are watching the yen really carefully. I think this is a big breakout point, and I know people are talking about intervention, but I don't think we're close to intervention yet. We haven't really got the big warning shots that the BOJ is usually doing. So
Well,
do you just buy it here?
if you talk about what Nomura has put on yesterday, I think it's complete crap, because the steps are wrong for one, and
Wait. So if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, let's go over to the Forex Analytix chat room. Let's go over to, this is our general chat room. I'll have to go back to yesterday. So go ahead, Cayman. I'll
Yeah,
find
I think
I'll,
that's completely old stuff. The current government, Katayama, is not talking exactly the same way. I mean, they have been already talking about looking at some intervention. What's not on the Nomura thing is that, or they take it as step 1 or step 2. It's actually step 4 or step 5 when the MOF talks about speculation. It's actually one of the last steps, not one of the first steps. And the government, today's MOF has been skipping a few steps. I mean, that's I think this one is old. They should update it. I don't think it's correct anymore. I'm not saying that we are close to intervention or that we are running the risk of intervention straight away, but that model doesn't work anymore. They have been talking differently. Katayama straight away jumped to level 3 or even 4 when she was talking about it. So no, I wouldn't. I think we are speed-wise, obviously not, because it has slowed down. Dollar yen at least has slowed down over the past sessions because we have been turning around at 154. But
Yeah.
I think level-wise, if you look at where we are in trade-weighted yen, I'm not going to exclude anything. I actually kind of liked a comment that I read this morning saying that perhaps they are just waiting for the set of US data to come out and then hit it. But okay, I mean, I'm not saying that we are really close to interventions, but I don't think that model is still up to date.
Got it. And just just because we have Solomon in his asking about data, we're probably not going to get the December. Not only we're not going to get the December CPI, we're probably not even going to get the December jobs report. Just FYI. So we're
October.
Did I say December? Yeah, I meant October. Sorry, guys.
You're already in Christmas mode.
That I am in Christmas mode. Actually, I'll be putting up stuff this weekend. No, October data. So we're not even going to get that October data. More than likely, that's kind of the headlines, and everybody's like, "Well, it must be bad data." But it takes a village to compile the data, and if the village has been not working, chances are we're just not going to get that data, and it's going to be bled into it's going to be bled into the
BNP think we might get the September NFP next Tuesday, but
and I was going to say we might also get CPI. The only reason why, remember, we released it the 24th of last month because the Treasury needed it for payments, and they might need that inflation data. So maybe we do, maybe we do. So I think we obviously didn't get any data today, and I don't know if we're going to get, if it's next week, we'll get the weekly unemployment claims again, which will be nice. So it's kind of all up in the air right now. So, and Joe, hey, it's New York Joe, Joe Perry, who used to be with us, who left us for Forex.com. He just put in the chat room, investing live, says,
Yeah, they've had the data on their calendars, whether it's being run or not. They've kept the data on their calendar. It's still showing US CPI for today. So,
yeah, that's not. I mean, we didn't get weekly unemployment claims either, so that's
No.
not happening.
They don't take the stuff off the calendars like some others do.
Yeah, that's the thing is it's a real time. You take companies like FX, or Forex Factory, who is a website probably run by one dude these days that fell asleep at the wheel. You know what I mean? So you'd have to be. I would look at some bigger sites and take a look at Bloomberg. Find some guys, like be in our chat room. Find some people that have Bloomberg terminals that can tell you the most recent news out. Now, speaking of recent, we have Anas here. Is he here?
Yes, yes, sir.
Have you promoted him?
I can't, because I'm not the host.
Oh,
So-
here, let me see if I can do it. Anas, if you can, I didn't take over privileges today. So Anas, if you can accept the
You did
promotion,
it.
he is here. All right, well, fantastic. Well, hey, I want to thank everybody for being here today. Good luck, everyone. The government is now open. It's probably going to mean a little bit of chaos until we can get our footing as far as understanding when the economic data is going to come out. Kind of everybody is fumbling around, just like everybody is, and trying to figure everything out. So
Sounds like the NFL.
yeah, kind of like
Fumbling
like
around, man.
yeah, kind of like a New York Giants or something. Wait, I mean
All
Jets.
right. Well,
I'm
I'll
sorry.
be over
Oops.
to help you put up your Christmas decorations this week.
All right, buddy. All right,
All
thanks,
right.
Ryan, Kman, and Steve. Good to hear all your voices this morning, and we'll be back tomorrow morning. Don't forget, and we'll be back to wrap up the week. But stick around for
Is that a
Dale
threat
and
or a
Anas
promise?
here. What's that, Steve?
Is that a threat or a promise?
That is both a threat and a promise.
The dream team, everybody, including the Russian Greek guy. All right.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
And we have Anas with us. Anas, welcome back. Hope your trip back from the Middle East was a smooth flight.
Good morning.
What'd you learn?
Oh,
while
I
you were
learned a
there?
lot. Good morning, everyone.
Because we
all
can
right.
learn
I-
what you learned.
I went to EURJPY, that's the energy conference at Abu Dhabi, which is sponsored by ADNOC. It is literally the largest energy show on earth. It's
Wow.
just unbelievable. 215,000 people came in. Just to go through the expo, you need 2 days. And they have almost all who is who in the energy industry worldwide. But there are 2 lessons out of it. The first lesson is we are seeing right now a conversion between the energy industry and the IT industry because of the AI.
Okay.
So the whole conference, yes, it was an energy conference, but we saw so many IT companies. I mean, every major IT data center AI thing was there. And I think what's going to happen is, as a result of this, we are going to see a new
market.
companies that we never seen before,
Yeah.
which is kind of a joint venture between the energy companies and the AI companies. Just a second, the sun is rising here, so let me just
All right.
close
Sure.
this window. Okay. So that's the first lesson, that this convergence between energy and AI, and the
Hasn't-
idea here.
Hasn't natural gas kind of like telegraphed that that was going to happen? I mean, it's been a huge move in nat gas, and
I
isn't
mean,
that the
yes,
AI
yes.
story?
I will talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
So the issue here is, to have AI, you need energy. There is no AI without energy. So that's one side of the story. But for the energy industry, they need AI on all fronts for various reasons, of course, increasing efficiency, reducing cost, etc. But the energy industry, especially the oil and gas industry, has a problem. And this problem been there for a very long time, but it became really a serious problem now and going forward. Because it is a cyclical industry, we've been losing a lot of people. So even people who went to school and studied petroleum engineering and geology, etc., if they get laid off a couple of times, they are going to go find another job, and they are going to shy away from the industry. That's why the oil and gas industry was way ahead of everyone else, even ahead of the IT companies when it comes to robotics. They really pushed that because they need to compensate. The other issue for why the oil and gas industry was pushing for robotics, because if you look around the world, they really produce oil and gas in very strange areas. Whether you are talking about North America, whether you are talking about the kind of like Alaska, Siberia, or you want to talk about the deserts of the Middle East and the sub-Saharan Africa. You are talking about either extreme cold or extreme hot weather. So robotics basically becomes important because not everyone wants to be there. Then you look at where they are operating, for example, in deep sea, in the Gulf of Mexico. They are 150 miles away from shore, where people have to stay there for at least 2 weeks or more to produce that oil. So they are forced to go toward robotics. But since this climate change issue came about, there was a clash. And probably this will be one of the highlights of today's show, that we ended up with a serious problem. The oil and gas industry made a historic mistake. And the historic mistake is they thought if they do PR by establishing some nonprofit organizations promoting the oil companies or promoting oil and gas, then they are doing their job. What they did not notice was they were focusing on the older people who owns properties so they can sign leases with them. While the climate change people went to first graders 20 years ago and they started teaching them. 20 years later, the older people died.
Yeah.
That being kind of convinced that the oil industry is good because they are generating income from it, while the new generation that is looking for jobs or going to university is all over the place. And no one wants to work for the oil industry because they've been taught for 18 years about climate change. So we have shortages, and those shortages are going to be severe in the future. So the push for AI basically comes natural as a result of that. The second point, or the second lesson from Arabic, I'm going to repeat the statement that we repeated there for several times, including the head of the conference, who is the CEO of ADNOC, and U.S. Interior Secretary, which is, there is no energy transition, but energy addition. And the idea here is very simple, and go back to your question about natural gas. We have this massive energy demand because of AI. And as a result, this idea that one source of energy will replace the other is not going to happen. And therefore, the energy transition is not going to happen. But we need more energy, and that's why we need the additions. And if you look at the IEA forecast, which we will talk about next, since they have 2 reports in 2 days in a row, if you look at their forecast, and I have a tweet on this that I tweeted yesterday, and start with, oh my God. If you look at their forecast for the increase in gas demand, it's just unbelievable. Which means that if you are not bullish on gas, you are not investing in gas, you are not investing in LNG, okay, please do, because we are very bullish on LNG. And I have, if you go down a little bit on that, okay, you see this one? Look at that
Yeah.
title.
Yes.
That's a presentation I'm going to give very soon at the Money Show. We are bullish on LNG. And therefore, if you are not...
You have been for 6 months.
Absolutely.
Longer,
but now after ADIPEC and after the IEA and after
You're more
OPEC
bullish.
reports,
Yeah.
I am more bullish now given what they have. And those guys who are making the case that we are going to have more LNG supply than demand and therefore it's bearish, they are missing several points. No, it is not. It's not bearish. If you look at that chart, if you just hold on, go back a little bit, please.
Right
if you
here.
look at that chart, that's OPEC released its monthly report. And if you look at their production, it's back to where it was in 2019. And
Is this them,
IEA,
this line?
the red one,
This
the red one is
black-
the 2025.
Okay,
The low one is that during COVID.
I see. Okay.
So the IEA released 2 reports. The first one, it released its outlook to 2050. Now let's go back here. If you go back to my pinned tweet to the top, okay, go to the pinned tweet. Okay,
There it is.
so this is, I said, tweet of the decade. So if you click on that, the one from October 23rd, 2020, please click on that. Okay, so this is from October 23, 2020. It says,
Yeah.
let me be clear. Investment in renewable energy has very limited impact on oil, if any. The impact will come from passenger vehicle EVs and fuel economy. In my forecast to 2050, there is no peak oil demand. And this is 2020. Now, I was the only one, and I think I have the right to brag here for the following reasons. Because all the forecasts in 2020 by all the major oil majors, by the organizations and the consulting houses were to 2045. I was the first one to go to 2050. So that's number one. Number two, no peak oil demand. No one before that said this. Everyone was predicting that we will have some sort of peak demand in the 30s or late 30s. Others said in 2019. BP basically said demand already peaked in 2019. By the way,
Right.
Today, the IEA said that oil demand today is 107 million barrels a day. In 2019, when BP said oil demand has peaked, it was 100.
They
So
should
we're
have
already
hired
7
you.
million above that. And
Yeah.
BP, by the way, it changed its forecast. It was
Yeah,
forced
he
basically.
lost
to change
he
the
lost
forecast.
his job on that call, huh?
Absolutely. So here is the, of course, when I put this tweet about 2020, I put it as pinned tweet. I'm just making the case for people to subscribe to our
No,
services because
and all, I know,
because
and
of these.
also in us, that was the COVID year, right, where crude went negative. You couldn't find anyone that was long-term bullish crude at that time.
Correct.
They-
Correct.
So I mean, that was
Correct.
an excellent. That was foresight. Nice
Correct.
foresight.
So here is the problem. The IEA told us in 2023, the oil industry is over. And that's it. And we are going to reduce our demand for oil, and we are going to go all for solar and wind and EVs, etc. And that's it. Here is the problem with the IEA. Yesterday, they issued their outlook to 2050. And in this outlook to 2050, they retracted what they said. And one of their scenarios, they said, look, oil demand, global oil demand may not peak by 2050. Which means that they support what I said in 2020, and they support what OPEC said in its report several months ago. because OPEC changed their view too, and they said, look, there is no oil demand, or basically updated their view to 2050, and they said there is no peak in oil demand. So the IEA retracted, but we have to be extremely careful with what the IEA did. Here is why. The IEA, as you recall from the first Trump administration, he was cutting off funding to all the international organizations, and he was withdrawing the US from them. So the IEA basically was afraid that they would lose the US funding, so they wanted to play a PR game with Trump. So they started issuing reports and statements to please Trump. So they come up with a statement, for example, saying, talking about shale, explosive growth in shale. And they started talking about US energy independence, which Trump is talking about. So Trump was very pleased with them, and he did not cut them off. Of course, we criticized them at that time because told them, look, there will be a time when shale is going to have serious problems. Here is the problem. The moment the elections ended and Trump lost, they completely switched to climate change. Exactly the opposite. So they were very opportunistic, and they tried to play the game with Biden, and that's why they went all the way from being the International Energy Agency, IEA, to being the International Environmental Agency, IEA. When Trump came back, they got stuck. And the Trump administration basically literally threatened them that the US either will withdraw or will withdraw funding or will force them to change. And as a result, they did change by adding the scenario to please Trump. The IEA is really good at PR. So what they did is, by having this scenario among various scenarios, of course, because they made a 180-degree U-turn, it's going to get the media. It's going to get the attention of everyone. It's going to get my attention and all my colleagues who are influencers on the social media. So they got all the social media they need. They got all the PR they need. And the Trump administration basically is pleased with that because all they are hearing that we have a U-turn. But that's really not the case. Well, they still have other scenarios, and it's very hard for the IEA to change. Regardless, they are wrong. And they are wrong when I say they are wrong. Dale, listen to this. In late 2022, the IEA, in its report, that I think it was November report, says, look, we underestimated global oil demand for 15 years in a row. So they upgraded the numbers between 2007 and 2021. Imagine this. I mean, who can be wrong for 15 years and come back after 15 years and say, well, sorry, we were wrong? Of course, they'd not say sorry. They will never say sorry.
Can I spin to something that's really kind of a current event that I think has a lot of people confused, and that would be the huge naval buildup in the Caribbean and what might happen in Venezuela. What's your take on that, Anas? I mean, Go ahead, because we've moved everything there. And if there's a problem somewhere else, Middle East, Ukraine, anywhere, we're wide open. We're exposed. It would take a lot to move what is already there in the Caribbean.
I am not a political analyst, so I don't know. But the issue here is this. There are people, especially at Bloomberg, who always publish wrong information and wrong reporting. They've been saying that, look, this is because of oil, and if the United States basically change the regime in Venezuela, they are going to have a lot of oil, and then they can get rid of Middle Eastern oil, etc. All these things.
I see, just a bunch of theories.
Not even theories. This is a complete nonsense. And the reason why, because we heard the same thing about Iraq. We heard the same thing about Afghanistan. We heard the same thing about Kosovo. We heard the same thing about Sudan, the same thing about Yemen, about the same thing about Syria. And it's not.
But this is the easiest way for the... This is President Trump. This is not
Okay.
like any of the other administrations that you have
Well,
mentioned.
here is the issue. If the United States wants the Venezuelan oil, all the Trump administration got to do just lift the sanctions, and they can triple imports from Venezuela in a
Yeah.
week.
Okay.
Why spend all
That's the
those
easy
billions
way.
of dollars?
That's what everyone wants to know. Why? I mean,
So
whether
it
there's
has
any
nothing, whatever it is, it has nothing to do with oil.
Okay.
That's the bottom line.
All right. Okay.
But there are other
Interesting.
things I would like to discuss quickly before the end of the show. There is a lot of news about what we call oil on water. People are saying that we have record amount of oil on water, and that is bearish. And they are saying that, look, oil prices will decline to 40s. I'm talking about Brent here, because those supplies are going to hit the storage, and storage will go up, and we have a lot of supplies. The IEA in its report today said there is a massive surplus next year. So there is a lot of bearishness because of oil and water. If you look at the numbers, yes, we have more oil on water than ever. But what does that mean? Since 2019 until now, I just told you that oil demand on seasonal basis increased by 7 million. And since oil basically has to be shipped somewhere else, so it's naturally we will have an increase. So to have a record, remember that we have a record oil consumption in the world. You want to talk about record production? We do have record production. You want to talk about record production in the United States? Yes. So it's naturally you will end up with high numbers on water. But the analysts and the journalists miss so many points that this is not as bearish as they say. And I'm going to give you some examples quickly. One of the best examples is this, that Brazil's exports, which is the supply, declined. But their exports to China went through the roof. Exports to China are at record high. That means if supply decreased and exports to China increased substantially, it came at the expense of others. That means I'm shifting ships from the United States to China. I'm shifting tankers from Europe to China. The distance to China is triple that to the United States. It's double that to Europe. So naturally, you end up with more oil on water just because of the trade, although supplies decreased. If you look at the increases in Saudi Arabia, for example, Saudi Arabia increased its exports significantly. But where did those exports go? That's the oil on water. It went to their storage overseas. So this is not an actual supply that we know about. If you look at the impact of sanctions, the Trump administration sanctioned a port in China. So what did China do? Asked the tankers to go to other ports. They did not deliver the shipments. Naturally, you end up with more oil on water. If you look at the Iranian shipments, which is the biggest one, basically, the Iranian shipments, Iran, most of the ships carrying Iranian oil turn off their signals. So those journalists who follow the signals on their computers, they don't see them. For some reason, several weeks ago, every tanker carrying Iranian oil turned on its signal.
Huh. Why?
And all of a sudden, people are saying, look, we have massive increase in Iranian exports. Where did that go? If you look at the data, Iranian production declined.
Huh. Okay. All
So
right. So we got a lot of fake news from everybody but you.
Well, so the idea here is the numbers are exaggerated. At the same time, the impact is exaggerated. And therefore, this bearishness out of this has no legs. And that's why prices are still in the 60s. They did not go to the 40s. The other issue that
it's a value here. You like
correct.
oil
And here is,
right now.
Here is another gold nugget. People are saying that US oil production is increasing, and that is bearish. Nonsense. Here is why. Because we are locking up more oil in the SPR than what we produced, or what the additions basically are this year.
Yeah, we never
that
hear
oil
about
is
the
locked up.
refill. Never hear about the refill of the
Yeah,
SPR.
because there is an agenda. That's why. This bearishness basically is manufactured bearishness. They are going to avoid talking about the other things. So if you compare all the US additions in 2025, production additions, and you look at what we locked up in SPR, what we locked in the SPR is more than the additions. This is bullish. This is not bearish.
Okay. Any risks in the Middle East anymore? I still haven't seen a peace agreement between Iran and Israel.
Well, I mean, the situation is very calm. We are, as you know, the president of Syria was here a few days ago, and he met with Trump. There were closed meetings, and I think those are
Good.
very significant meetings. And then MBS of Saudi Arabia is going to be here in a few days. I think in
Okay.
5 days he's going to be here. He's going to come with a massive group
Investment.
of businessmen and investors. There will
Yeah.
be massive I mean, they are going to talk about investment. They are going to talk about I don't know how much money they are going to, but there are talks about $1 trillion investment in the United States, while US companies are going to go to Saudi Arabia and invest there. So I think there will be, and then they have a new airlines called Riyadh Airlines, and they are going to purchase massive number of planes. So
from
probably
like
this is good for
Boeing
Boeing.
and
Yes.
okay. So that's a great sign. So the petrodollar is not dead, right, Anas?
This is the myth that's being kind of resurrected every single time. There is
I know.
no reason even to worry about the petrodollar. The oil will always be priced in a dollar as long as the American empire is there.
Okay. And what do you think? We have till 2050 till oil demand peaks?
Of course, our outlook is to 2050. We have not looked after 2050, but between now and then, no peak in oil demand. And now the IEA and OPEC agrees with us. And by the way, EV sales in the United States are dropping like a rock.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So another fad comes and goes.
Yes.
What do you think it means for Tesla?
Well, Tesla is a completely different game because
They're going
it's not
robotics
really,
now, right?
yes, but when it comes to the cars, it has nothing to do with the climate change and all this stuff. People buy
Yeah.
Tesla because they like Tesla, they love Tesla,
Yeah.
and without mentioning kind of naming the groups, etc., I think there are some ethnic groups in the United States that are fascinated by it, and they are buying it because their friends are buying it. It has nothing
Okay.
to do with being electric, has nothing to do with climate change.
Do you venture into equities related to oil? Or is it strictly the black gold and
Well,
the other?
my focus right now is really LNG. I am very bullish on every LNG company in the United States,
Okay.
especially the big ones, especially those ones that signed contracts recently and they've been in the news. VG, Next, for example, and of course, Cheniere is the old one. But all of those companies, I'm very bullish on them.
Okay. I really appreciate you coming and filling us in. Very interesting. The new, looks like you could call it allies, tech and oil. They used to
Absolutely.
kind of be, you know,
Tech and
adversaries.
energy. Sorry, tech and energy.
Tech and energy. Okay. So thanks, Anats. Get some rest
Thank you.
from your trip and talk to you next
By the
year.
way, I'm heading to Vienna very soon to OPEC.
Okay. So staying on top of it. You know what is great about Anas? He doesn't sit in his office and just do research. He's like the old gumshoe detectives that has his boots on the ground. To really know what's going on, you have to be there. I respect
Thank
that
you.
about you, buddy.
Thank you.
You're a great
Thank you.
reporter for doing that. And I think you probably have some fun going to these things too. Do you have fun? It's fun for you.
Sometimes depends.
All right, buddy. Announce Alaji, everyone, and follow him on X at his name. Go to his website, great charts. And if you're in the energy sector, he's got to be part of your intelligence gathering. And that's a wrap for us today. Thanks again, Announce
Thank you.
Alaji. And everyone have a great day, good hunting, and don't just count your barrels, count your blessings. Adios. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, guys.